and today we're going to be feeding the fish. There's no one here, which is just fine, but my hard drive for my computer crashed, so what we're going to be doing is just feeding the fish and going to bed, and we'll have a much better video next week. So we're all out of marine cuisine, and we're going to just be feeding 1 cube of marine cuisine. This is a standard food that's pretty easy to get at just about any store. Basically every day I feed 1 cube, and this feeds both my large peninsula tank and also feeds my Nuvo Fusion aquarium. So that's what we're going to be doing. And for everyone that just joined, I didn't get a video out today because my hard drive actually crashed. So that is something that I'm working on fixing. But here's the tank. We got the blue lights on because it's evening. The fish are pretty happy to have some food. So what I typically do is I don't strain out my frozen food. A lot of people do, and they try to get out all of the extra juices. They say contribute to phosphates and other things in the aquarium, but I've actually never had any problems, I think, that have been contributed to it. And I've looked at some other articles on Advanced Aquarist, and they actually did a breakdown of the phosphates that come out of the juice within the food. And really, when you compare it to the amount of phosphates in the food itself and the amount that's in the juice, it's really not very significant. So I don't bother with straining it. I just let the cube basically thaw in the cup, and then I dump it in. And so because this tank here is what I call my clean tank, so this is basically, it has the highest level of quarantine of anything. I try to keep all the pests out of it. I use water from this tank to actually melt the food, but then I will distribute this food between both of the tanks. And sometimes I let it sit. Basically, it's really easy to tell when it's all melted, because once it's melted, the cube will sink to the bottom because it's no longer ice, and so it'll no longer be less buoyant than water. But because you guys all probably want to go to bed, I'm just going to mix up some of this food and feed a little real quick. And so like I said, it looks really gross. There's a lot of other stuff floating in here, but this is a very clean tank, and it can definitely handle it. It only has 4 fish. So some people might be cringing, but this is what I do. And yeah, it is a lot of food for those fish, but I think they can handle it. They chase down a lot of it. The dotty back is doing really good. Once again, sorry that's really blue, but I really like the dotty back. It does a great job hiding in all the rocks in the aquarium. It can deal with a lot of the higher flows. I think my gyre is, I think I had it off for a little while, and the time of day got a little messed up, so it actually kicks up some of the circulation in the aquarium in the evenings, so I need to reset the time, make sure that's going more so during the day. Now that they've ate that, we'll give them a little bit more food, and then we'll go down and say hi to all of the fish that are hanging out underneath the tank, and then we'll go check in on the Nuvo Fusion. Is that a soldier fish? No, I don't think so. Are you talking about this guy right here? This is a orchid striped cardinal fish. And then we have a frostbite clownfish, and he's just really a wonderful guy. And then we have the lightning maroon clownfish. I've had him a couple years, and he's looking really good. And then that is just a neon dotty back captive bred specimen. I always try to get the captive bred kind. So that's melting. Actually, it looks like it's mostly melted, but we can look at some of the corals that I just planted. So I really like having contrasting colors. So I have this red and green Montipora and have just mounted them right next to each other. The red one is supposedly a forest fire Montipora, had really, really good colors when I purchased it, and as it settled into my tank, the colors, the vibrant green kind of went away, but now a lot of it's come back, so that's pretty nice. And I have this little island here with some more. One thing that's really funny, oh, sorry if my connection's going down, but one thing that's really funny is this anemone. I put the anemone in the tank, and it crawled immediately underneath the big rock and just is living there, and the clownfish is there, and it seems relatively happy, but I don't know how it's getting any sunlight other than the light that's reflecting off the surface of this acrylic, which is a decent amount, and is part of the reason why I have the acrylic in there. And that's about it for this tank. Let's go check out and see what's going on down below. So actually, I'm in the middle. It's a weird shade. Yeah, it might be the lights too. So I actually have the filter sock holders out because I'm in the middle of changing out the filter socks. Basically, when they fill up, I can hear them. Oh, sorry, I missed someone's question. Same aquarium, and struggle to keep the phosphates down and the nitrates up. What's your goal with keeping the nitrates up? Not everyone typically likes to have nitrates, but are you trying to keep the phosphate and the nitrates down or up? I like to keep them down. Right now I'm running a little bit of carbon GFO. There's my skimmer. Once again, anyone that just joined in, if you have any questions, let me know. We're doing a live stream tonight because my hard drive crashed. I actually lost, or I had part of it backed up, but I didn't have the more recent stuff backed up, so I did lose a little bit of stuff. Here is where I have clownfish prison. These are the fish. I'm waiting to take this wrasse back to the store because he was a little aggressive towards the cardinals. So the store said they would take them. I just have to get around to bringing them back. I also have another clownfish back there who I'm going to bring to the store, and they're happy to have clownfish. You always want to avoid having fish that, and I don't dose them to keep them up. Well, I mean, if they're zero, I don't, you know, might not necessarily be all that bad, I guess. You could also check out your testing kit. My nitrates are, I guess, they change depending on the time, but they typically don't run near zero at all. I have to pull up my spreadsheet, but they've been running at 10 at times.